I was not trying to be. Or I might have been trying to get something or manifest something, and I'm waiting on this process to happen, and the process wasn't happening because I still had that doubt in the back of my mind. I still had this question like, okay, well, it's not here yet. How am I going to get it? How am I going? And that's what automatically switches everything. It automatically changes everything. So your driven faith has to be, man, it's so hard, y'all. Like, it's so hard because I'm a very faith-filled person. I believe in it. But at the same time, when you're dealing with so many things, if you don't have a routine or a regimen on how to overcome life and the way that you react to life, I think the reaction is the biggest part. If we all had a different perception of what life is, then I believe that so many things that happen in our everyday world wouldn't affect us the way they do. It wouldn't affect us the way they do, y'all, because we get so caught up in what's going on around us in this world right now, and it builds a fear factor, and you start getting this anxiety, and you start getting this fear, and you start thinking like, damn, like everything is going wrong, and this is happening, that's happening, and you pay attention to that more than what you're trying to actually, actually make happen for your life on a better note. You start paying attention to everything that's right there. And that's where everything becomes unbalanced. I'm not speaking for everybody, but majority of the people that I know live a very unbalanced lifestyle. Very unbalanced. And you can come in front of the camera all day and make it seem like your life is so A1. You can do that all day if you got to psych yourself out. But at the end of the day, if you're not dealing with the things that you need to deal with yourself on a daily basis, then nothing that you are trying to manifest or nothing that you want to happen better for you is going to happen, and you be able to keep it. And that's just the reality about it. Like, we have to fully self-heal, fully self-love, go through a whole self-development in order for us to become, the best version of ourselves, a better version of ourselves, a better person in life, all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's a hard thing to do. You got to focus all them years that you were doing everything wrong. Like, man, that's a lot of years. It's a lot of years that I was doing a lot of wrong shit. A lot. And I didn't have that guidance. I blocked myself off. I blocked myself off from my family. I blocked myself off from the world. And I had to deal with those things personally. And that personal trauma, that those situations that you don't hear from your past, from your childhood, those situations, like that's where it starts. Like, you got to go back to the root. And once you find the root to the problem, because you can say all day that you want to change this and you want to be this and you want to do that, but if you don't know where the root problem is coming from, it will never happen. It's never going to happen. You got to go backwards. You got to work backwards when you're working on yourself, because you can't think you're going to get healed if you don't think you hurt. You can't. It doesn't work that way. A lot of us are living in denial. We don't want to be that person because what society has made it to be. Oh, you weak or you this and you that. You know what I'm saying? So we tend to try to change ourselves. We change ourselves when we get around certain people, and then when we get home, we're dealing with so many demons that we don't know how to fight. And I don't feel like we're supposed to fight them by ourselves. I feel like everybody's story has an effect on somebody else's story or somebody else's life. Either somebody else has been there and done that, or somebody is going through that. So for me right now, y'all, I'm literally like, I'm breaking out of my comfort zone, because like I said, y'all, like, I don't do this. I don't talk. I don't do this. I'm not a social media person at all. And I had to realize, like, we live in the different times. You know what I'm saying? So in order for me to get to where I want to be, it weighed on my spirit for a long time for me to get on this camera and talk, y'all. And I kept thinking in my head, like, I'm not finna, like, why am I doing that? Like, I'd rather just talk to myself. Like, I'd rather have this whole staff meeting in my head and tell myself all these things that I want to tell myself and make it seem like it's going to be okay. It doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. Like, I had to start a routine, y'all. Okay, I had to switch up my whole routine. I had to start writing down on a piece of paper the things that I was doing in my everyday life. from beginning to the end. And when I look back and read my paper, y'all, I said, oh hell, like something, like I got to, like this ain't gonna work. Like this ain't gonna work. So being a woman, being a man, whatever you are, it doesn't even matter, because we all go through shit, y'all. We all dealing with demons. We are all dealing with that side outside of the camera, that person outside, that person that you deal with. Look, let me tell you something. It took a long time for me to deal with myself. It took a long time for me to deal with myself. When I actually had to put the work in to sit down with me and listen to my own silence, y'all, I'm telling you, I was like, wait a minute. Like, first of all, when I first started doing it, I didn't know what I was doing. I was confused. I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be meditating, right? And I didn't necessarily have the understanding of what that meant. But once I got it and I started to observe my thoughts, and I'm sitting here thinking all this crazy stuff in my head, and I'm like, damn, like this is what you think? Like, these are the things that you got going on in your head? Like, this ain't this. No. Like, you have to change that. You got to change that. Stop looking for other people's validation, man. You got to do you for you. Be yourself. Be confident in yourself. Stop the competition. Stop the hating. Stop. Like, we have to change, y'all. Like, it has to get better. And we have to do it as a community. As a community, as a culture, we are failing ourselves. Because we're not taking that time to sit down and have the knowledge. Like, y'all, I made it a goal to read a book a week. And if y'all know me back in school, bro, y'all never saw me in class. Y'all never saw me in class. Like, I dead ass don't know how I graduated, okay? I'm a very smart and intelligent person, but when it came down to me actually sitting down and focusing on something that I felt like was not going to benefit me, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So now that I'm older, I try to sit down and use things that are for self-development, the shit that we ain't taught. They don't teach us this for a reason. They don't teach us this for a reason, because they want you to have that same mindset, because they want you to stay stuck where you at, because they don't want you to make it. They don't want you to make it. So that information that these other folks getting, that they putting on to their kids, we got to do better, y'all. We got to do better. We have to be able to, we have to come up with a solution, because you got to think about it on a daily basis. The shit that you go through personally as an adult. And if you're a parent and you are dealing with things and you don't know how to deal with these things, we're passing these on, excuse me, y'all. We're passing these things on to our kids. It was a point in time where I was so off balance with myself. Like, my kids were irritating the hell out of me. Everything they did, everything they said, I could not focus. It was just like, I didn't want to be bothered. And I was just like, I didn't know how to do anything. Like, everything I was doing, I was so angry. I had so much built up anger. Everything was out of anger. And then I would sit up here and I'd be yelling all day and I'd be doing this and doing that. And I'm like, well, what's wrong with me? Like, there has to be something going on with me that I need to address. I had to sit down and pay attention to myself. We get so caught up in this life and thinking we on this routine. We got to wake up. We got to go to work. We got to do this. We got to cook. We got to clean. We're not paying attention to what is actually going on. And these kids, this is who we have to pay attention to. This is who's coming up behind us, y'all. And at the end of the day, if they coming up in this generation, it scares the shit out of me to think that my kids are going to have to be here in this world without me. Like, it really gives me a whole lot of anxiety attack. Like, that part to me, like, if I'm not okay, then my kids cannot be okay. They can't. There's no way that you feel like you can try to pretend. You see what I'm saying? And you can still live your own lifestyle, or you can still, our priorities, y'all, our priorities have to be together. Don't feel like you have to have somebody else in your life to make you happy. Don't feel, if you're not happy with yourself and you get into a relationship, baby, let me tell you something. That relationship is going to fail. And let me tell you why it's going to fail. Because if you're not meeting somebody already at that same alignment, then the things that you're going through personally, you give that other person that responsibility to fill that void that you have. You see what I'm saying? The things that so I know a lot of us, we go through that time in our life where we're real vulnerable. You understand what I'm saying? We're real vulnerable. And those trauma, those pains, those hurts, those things that we don't want to deal with, we cover them up. And when we cover them up and we don't take on the responsibility and accountability to deal with those things, you put that responsibility on the next person. You like, oh, if I had me a man, then I'll be happy. Then I'll be okay. If I had somebody in my life, then everything will be all right. You feel like you struggling because you don't have nobody? No, you struggling because you have not taken the due diligence to do your work on yourself. And when you're in alignment with yourself, when you're grounded with yourself, when you are at peace eternally, everything else will come to you automatically. You don't have to go look for it. You don't have to go and search for it. You don't have to accept everything that comes into your life. You don't have to use somebody else to make you feel like you're going to be okay. If you're not okay by yourself, then there is something that you need to go back and rewind and figure out why you're not okay by yourself. Figure out what's wrong. Because when we don't do that work, y'all, when we do not do that work, we put that responsibility on. I know so many people that say, oh, they in a relationship, they about to have kids, and they get their kids, and they like, oh, when I get kids, I'll be okay when I have my kids. No, your kids are not coming to this world to feel that void and that hurt for you. You got to heal from that. Your kids are not, don't put that responsibility on them. It's not okay for you to put that responsibility on a man or a woman. If you are not okay, men, if you're dealing with something that your mama took you through, if you have a bad relationship with your mama, pay attention to the flags, y'all. Like, there's so many flags within people, and if you can't recognize them same red flags in somebody else that you got in yourself, and you don't pay attention, and you put yourself in that situation, you have to understand whatever energy that you are holding is the energy that you are going to receive, and that's how it works. There is no discrimination when it comes to the law, y'all. Okay, you got to understand the universal law, because there is no discrimination. So whatever you are putting out there, if you telling yourself, if you saying all the time, man, F love, and I don't want nobody, I don't need nobody, I'm okay by myself, whoop the whoop, best believe you gonna be lonely. You're going to be lonely. You can tell yourself you don't need nobody all day long. You can tell yourself you okay by yourself. You can tell yourself you can make it by yourself. Let me tell you something. Right now, in these times right here, y'all, we all need help. What the hell? We all need help. Everybody needs somebody, baby. Everybody. So get out of that. Get out of that. Stop thinking that that's what society wants to hear, because society needs to hear that somebody else is going through what you're going through. Somebody else is here understanding where you're coming from. My biggest thing was nobody understood me. And even to this day, let me tell you something, when you're living life on a low frequency, okay? When you live life on a low frequency, y'all go back and do the science, because there's a science to this life, y'all. And when you're living on that low frequency, these are the types of situations and shit that you attract in your life. It will be on a low frequency. You got to take yourself up. Don't expect somebody else to take you up. Take yourself up, because at the end of the day, it goes down the line. It goes down the line, y'all. Pay attention. Pay attention to the things, the issues and situations that you deal with within your family. Y'all, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm going to be on here talking, y'all. I don't give a damn if I'm on here for 2 hours. Let me tell y'all something. I've had so many different things that have been weighing on my spirit, y'all, and I have not been able to get on here or get anywhere and just talk about it. I had to write it on paper. I had to do this and do, like, I just did not want to put it out there. And I wanted to, no, let me stop lying. I wanted to put it out there, but I just didn't want to do this part. Like, I've never been this type of person to get on here and do this kind of stuff. So for me to do this, y'all, just understand I'm coming out my comfort zone. And I want to start doing talk therapy sessions to where we can sit down, or not sit down, but we can actually just talk about life and everyday things. And maybe getting a different perception from somebody else's situation will help us to get through certain things, y'all. Because I don't have a lot of people to talk to. I don't talk to people. I've never been the type of person to call my best friend and tell them what the hell I got going on in my life or my relationship. That was never me. You never heard me. If you know me, if y'all know me personally, you know me. And let me not say it like that, because you don't know me. But you know that person that I am when I'm with y'all. And you never hear me say that I got these fucked up situations going on in my life, or that, I'm broke, or that, I don't speak negativity into my life. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like if you're my friend and you haven't been through what I'm going through, or you haven't been through